Although that storehouse of love certainly came with Krishna, when he was present, it was sealed. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his associates of the Panchatattva, they broke the seal and plundered the storehouse to taste transcendental love of Krishna. The more they tasted it, the more their thirst for it grew. Translation with repetition. The characteristics of Krishna.
The characteristics of Krishna
Understood to be a storehouse of transcendental love.
Are understood to be a storehouse of transcendental love.
Although that storehouse of love certainly came with Krishna.
Although that storehouse of love certainly came with Krishna.
When he was present.
When he was present.
It was sealed.
It was sealed.
But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came.
But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came.
With his associates of the Panchatattva.
With his associates of the Panchatattva.
They broke the seal.
They broke the seal.
And plundered the storehouse.
And plundered the storehouse.
To taste the transcendental love of Krishna.
To taste the transcendental love of Krishna.
The more they tasted it.
The more they tasted it.
The more their thirst for it grew.
The more their thirst for it grew.
Report by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Mahabhadanaya Avatara because although he is Sri Krishna himself, he is even more favorably disposed to the poor fallen souls than Lord Sri Krishna. When Lord Sri Krishna himself was personally present, he demanded that everyone surrender unto him and promised that he would then give one all protection. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this earth with his associates, he simply distributed transcendental love of God without discrimination. Sri Rupa Goswami therefore would understand that Lord Chaitanya was none other than Sri Krishna himself, for no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can distribute the love of the Supreme Person. Text 22. Puna puna piyaya hoya mahamata nache kande hase gai jaiche madamata. Understand? Sri Panchatattva themselves danced again and again and thus made it easier to drink nectarian love of Godhead. They danced, cried, laughed, and chanted like madmen. And in this way, they distributed love of Godhead. Purport. People generally cannot understand the actual meaning of chanting and dancing. Describing the Goswami, Srinivasacharya stated, Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Parao. Not only did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates demonstrate this chanting and dancing, but the 6 Goswamis also followed in the next generation. The present Krishna conscious movement follows the same principle, and therefore simply by chanting and dancing, we have received good responses all over the world. It is to be understood, however, that this chanting and dancing do not belong to the material world. They're actually transcendental activities. For the more one engages in chanting and dancing, the more he can taste the nectar of transcendental love of Godhead. So this is very relevant. We also have union of the next generation, and they're also chanting and dancing, as Prabhupada did with his devotees, disciples. Krishna gave out love of Godhead, but in order to get it, one had to fully surrender. If one fully surrendered to Krishna, then you could get that blessing. As it says in this verse, once Krishna left, the storehouse was sealed. It was much harder to get that mercy. Because even when Krishna was present, it wasn't that everyone surrendered to Krishna. Some people didn't take advantage of his presence. And they missed out. Well, Lord Chaitanya came. He's Krishna himself, but he's in the mood of Audarya, which is unlimited causeless mercy. So he opened up the storehouse of love of Krishna again to give to everyone. In fact, the next verse is also just really beautiful verses here. Patra patra vichar nahi nahi stan stan Jai jaha pai taha kore premadan. Beautiful poetry. In distributing love of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates did not consider who was a fit candidate and who was not, nor were such distribution should or should not take place. They made no conditions. Wherever they got the opportunity, the members of the Panchatattva distributed love of Godhead. Prabhupada says in the purport, there are some rascals who dare to speak against the mission of Lord Chaitanya by criticizing the Krishna consciousness movement for accepting Europeans and Americans as brahmanas and offering them sannyasa. But here is an authoritative statement that in distributing love of Godhead, one should not consider whether the recipients are Europeans, Americans, Hindus, Muslims, etc. The Krishna consciousness movement should be spread wherever possible, and one should accept those who thus become Vaishnavas as being greater than Brahmanas, Hindus or Indians. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired that his name be spread in each and every town and village on the surface of the globe. Therefore, when the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spread all over the world, should those who embrace it not be accepted as Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, and Sannyasis? These foolish arguments are sometimes raised by envious rascals, but Krishna conscious devotees do not care about them. We strictly follow the principles set down by the Panchatattva. So the examples given here of a storehouse that's just open. Say somebody had a whole storehouse and decided, I just want to give it all away. First come, first serve. Come and get it. Actually, I was in Bangkok on one festival day they had. And actually, on that day there was a particular monastery that distributed free rice and clothing. And they're going to open the door in the morning at a particular time, say 6 o'clock. There were 5,000 people gathered in front of the door. When they opened the door, there was such a stampede that and many people actually got injured. They went wild just to get a little bag of rice. Now here, Lord Chaitanya has opened up the storehouse. And so all those who are intelligent enough to know what the value of what he has opened is, they also were just mad to get that mercy. And having gotten it, they all became overwhelmed in ecstasy. In this symmetry or this metaphors that are given is tremendous enthusiasm, not only for eating and enjoying the nectar that's come out of the storehouse, but for giving it to others. Everyone was in a very benevolent mood. Actually here everybody's rushing because they're afraid, well, there's maybe not enough or I won't get. But actually this storehouse, there's no shortage. It's not going to run out like you have to worry about it. At the same time, nobody wants to waste waste the time, because time is very precious. We should get it as quickly as possible. We don't have to stampede exactly. Because here everyone can tap the storehouse simply by chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Last night we were with a devotee, never chanted one round of Hare Krishna, so together we all chanted one round. So how do you feel? So I feel very good. Chanting Hare Krishna by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is immediately effective. How special what Lord Chaitanya is giving is illustrated by the Devas who came to pray to Lord Chaitanya when he was in the womb of his mother. And they prayed to Lord Chaitanya that you come in every millennium, every yuga, and a different Leela avatar. Yuga avatar, you're coming sometime, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha. And every incarnation you're giving deliverance to your devotees. You're giving them liberation, moksha. But only when you come as Krishna do you give out love of yourself. Ecstatic and pure love of Godhead. But even in Krishna's incarnation, you didn't give everyone. But we know that in your present incarnation, you're going to give freely love for Godhead. So we've come from the heavenly planets. We are celestial beings. And we want to get your mercy. We don't want the mercy of sense gratification. We already have enough of that in the heavenly planets. It's like so much sense gratification that it creates another problem. Because there's so much sense gratification, sometimes we get distracted and we think, anyway, I'm happy, so why chant, why do it? We get cheated from experiencing the real transcendental happiness. Because of too much sense gratification. So we don't want any more sense gratification. We want the love of Krishna. The only other problem the Devas face, they get attacked by demons sometimes. Demons and sense gratification, this is the big problem there. That seems to be the problem here in America too, right? Terrorists and sense gratification. There's a few other problems too. But main ones probably. It's not quite heavenly planets yet. So, for people in foreign countries, I think they think it is. That was a big shock for them when they saw the terrorist attack. So in this material world, there's dangers at every step. And to offset that, and people have sense pleasures, which it's like a pacifier, just to keep somebody busy. But the real happiness everybody is actually hankering for is what Lord Chaitanya is giving. So these devas pray, don't let us be deprived of your mercy. We want to get this mercy and love for Godhead. So in order to get it, we just have to regularly be absorbed in chanting and hearing and serving. The Navavida Bhakti, 9 processes of devotional service, Sarvanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc. If we can stay absorbed in that, then we go deeper and deeper into the ocean. Sometimes we take a little dip, taste of the nectar. Then like an elephant come out of the water, and the elephant takes the dust and throws it on the back. So the acharyas warn us that don't take just a dip in the nectar and then come out and throw the dirt on your back. Keep diving deeper and deeper. Don't think that what happiness we get by a little kirtan is the end. It goes so deeper. We keep on chanting deeper and deeper. We can dive. The more consistently we engage in devotional service, unbroken, the more satisfied the self becomes. Ahaitukya apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Ahaituki apratihata. Apratihata means unbroken. Mahutiki means unmotivated. Suprasidati. Completely satisfied. Now how the Panchatattva came down from the spiritual world and they're engaged in this distribution of love of Godhead. It's so amazing. And how the gopis and gopas and Brajavasis, eternal liberated Nitya Siddhas, they came down with Lord Chaitanya and they're in this mood of distributing the mercy. We also have got this rare opportunity to engage in helping the Lord disseminate the mercy to everyone. In Santiago, Chile, the devotees were doing Harinam on the street, and so many people were surrounding the devotees. And there was one dog barking. So the kirtan leader separated the crowd and so let the dog come in. And then the dog started to jump up on the hind legs, and with the kirtan was dancing like the devotees. I think they told me the dog even paid obeisances. You were there, you can tell us about it. What happened? No, first hand, I heard it second. First hand, he was actually there, okay. How did it happen? The dog was jumping, and then barking, then paid obeisances. And he followed the devotees everywhere. So even the dogs can get the mercy. Prabhupada said that Lord Chaitanya could get the jungle animals to dance and chant. So we may not be able to do that. At least if we get the human beings. Here we got not only human beings, here we got the dogs. Who knows what devotee was? Came back maybe. So what did the people, when the people saw this dog doing that, they must have really been amazed, right? That kirtan must have been very ecstatic. What were the devotees doing? Right? If you saw a dog jumping and paying obeisances and rolling in the ground, there's hundreds of people gathering around. Yeah, sometimes I always travel, unless I'm going to some country where it's illegal to enter as a devotee, I always travel as a devotee. Sometimes the customs or immigration, they say, oh, you're Hare Krishna, you guys still around? I used to see you on the street. But now, many devotees, a lot more are Harinam parties are going out. And actually I was in Russia last year. There was this all-night kirtan going on. There's advertised to have all-night kirtan for Ekadasi, where they have a festival, a music festival. And it's a folk festival. It's about 300,000 people in a place called Rushinsky on the Volga River. I think I told this. But there was, Bhakti Govinda Maharaj invited me the past couple of years, and I'm going. And there were some thousands of people gathered in this tent. And from 9 o'clock at night till about 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, they just chant the whole night. Non-stop. And the next day, there was a Russian couple came to see me. I was sitting in the back chanting japa, because you had the whole night, 10 mandala and then go to sleep, so it's kind of a unique program. Then after you wake up, you chant your japas. I was doing my japa, and then they came in, they said, can we ask you a question? I said, sure, no problem. And then they said, you see, last night we joined into your singing, and we were singing with you this, what are you singing? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They actually memorized it after 6 hours, I guess. And they said, well, we want to know one thing, you see, because after singing with you, we realized that we were never happier in our entire life. We were never happier. But we don't know, what does this mean? We never heard of you people before. We never saw you before. We just happened to walk into your tent. We've been singing with you for 6 hours, and we can't get it out of our head now. And we never felt happier in our entire life. What is it that we were singing? What does this mean? Then there was one college student that was really into the chanting. Maharaj had her come up on a stage, and with all the Russian girls, she was doing this, the Russian and Polish girls that kind of trained up by Indradumna Maharaj. They do a little bit choreographed kind of dancing, like a Bharatanatyam, spin around, and I can't really do justice. I'm not. They're very beautiful. But so she was there in the lineup, and she was also doing all the hand moves and the spinning and jumping and everything. So then, so she mentioned that when she was 11 years old, or 9 or 11, something like a little girl, she saw a Harinam party, and she immediately wanted to go. She said, Daddy, Mommy, look at it. Who is that? And then they're like, oh, no, it was a Hare Krishna. But all her life she remembered this Harinam party. It had such an impact on her. But then she came to this festival, and there she saw the devotees chanting and dancing, and she came in the big crowd, and the Maharaj thought she was very enthusiastic, and she was getting the hand movements right to come up on the stage. She chanted right up until 4 in the morning, stayed overnight. But overnight, I stayed there. So in a thing like that, where you just do kirtan, and there's hardly any philosophy. Philosophy in the daytime, somebody wants to hear the philosophy we tell them, but it's mainly just chanting, and chanting, and chanting. You find so many people become so favorable just by chanting with you. And that's how Lord Nityananda spread the first Namhat movement. When he was ordered by Lord Chaitanya that I'm a sannyasi now, you should go back to Bengal, take Grihastha life, and you spread the Nama, finish off what we started, because otherwise it'll all be wasted. So then, when he came, first place he arrived at was Panihati Dam. And he went to see Raghava Pandit in the kitchen. That's mainly where Raghava Pandit was. He's like one of the best cooks in the universe, in existence. He and his sister are cooks in Vrindavan. Damayanti was Radharani's helper cook for Krishna. So, and then immediately Raghava Pandit, when he saw it, he was amazed. This is fantastic. Have you eaten prasad yet? How many are you? So no, we haven't eaten. Well, 45 people. Don't worry, I'll cook everything 1 hour. Come back. Just go take a bath. So like that, they had prasadam and then rested from their journey from Jagannath Puri. In the afternoon, they started this amazing kirtan. So this kirtan was first performed by the associates of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and they're all chanting and dancing, and Nityananda was seated there and he's watching. Whenever he glanced at a devotee, they'd feel ecstatic love in their heart and they'd just become overwhelmed. Just this glance, it may make them fall on the floor or roll in ecstasy or feel like pulling out their hair. There's just so much besides himself with spiritual love. So ecstatic, it's uncontrollable. And then, after some time, then Nityananda Prabhu himself, he did kirtan. He started dancing in the kirtan. It says when Nityananda Prabhu does kirtan, even Lord Chaitanya, he has to come and watch it. Lord Chaitanya said, there's one place I always reside, wherever Nityananda Prabhu is doing kirtan, I'm there. I will never miss it. His kirtan dancing. Even you read Chaitanya Bhagavata, you can't even get a description. All they do is just say this kirtan. It's just so indescribable. When he touches the earth with his bare feet, he's the origin of Barahadev. He sends trembles of ecstasy down the back of Mother Earth. So every step creates earthquakes, little earth tremors, gentle. And so artistic and so beautiful, so loving. So Lord Chaitanya, he just appeared right there, but he couldn't be seen by anybody but Lord Nityananda, maybe. I don't know if anyone else could see him. He was wearing a special flower garland from South India, because that time he was in South India. So then Lord Nityananda told everybody that Lord Chaitanya is here. They're all looking around. You can't see him, because he's here invisibly, but he's actually here. He's wearing a garland. You can smell his flowers, 2 more flowers. And if you smell it, then you'll know he's here. And I was smelling. As soon as somebody smelled it, they got overwhelmed in ecstatic love. So this kirtan's going on, and the smell driving him even more crazy. And so many pastimes happened at that place. This kirtan just kept going on and on for like 3 months. Day and night, never stopped. 3 months, non-stop kirtan. Like, some of them might come in and out, but somehow the kirtan just kept going. So after a while, like maybe 10,000 people were always there chanting and dancing. And it said that people, it would be like, they would just send out waves. Some would stay in the kirtan, just forget everything, eating, sleeping, everything for like 3 days. And then they realized, okay, I gotta go home, I gotta eat something. And they'd be walking back towards their home. And people would just see them beaming. So what happened to you? Why are you so happy? And they said, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, unbelievable kirtan. They're chanting. Really what? And then they go to look and then they get sucked into it and then the kirtan keep on going. Like this, like just by kirtan, he established Nama. Kirtan was the biggest preaching. Because everyone that joined that kirtan, they were 100% convinced. This is it. This is it. Nothing beyond this. Then after that, they're just ready to know, okay, so what does this mean? We're completely open. Don't have to argue, don't have to, defeat big pundits and debates. All the people that chanted, they're just already convinced because they're realizing, they're experiencing something that they could never experience and never had experienced anywhere else. Then after that, it would just fill in the blanks. Okay, you got it. Now tell me what this all means. So the kirtan was getting so wild after a few months that Prabhupada said, "Man, let me left to my house and tear it apart." So then Lord Nityananda just kind of took the kirtan and moved it like a moving ratio. I don't know what, bonfire or something, just igniting up everybody's love of Krishna. Flooding. So wherever he went, then after they'd be somewhere and everybody would be chanting, they just leave somebody there, okay, you're the local preacher here, and then they go next place. So I was quite amazed at how, it's like chanting got expanded the preaching. And then later, for the hard nuts and the people that didn't join the kirtan, they were always, then they had the strategies and other kinds of preaching programs. But the initial attack was just flooding everyone in kirtan. And that made the maximum number of converts or delivered the maximum number of people. And then after that, for those who are really hard nuts, they had other dramas and festivals and other types of things which got in the remaining people. Until finally the whole of Bengal was flooded with Lord Chaitanya's mercy by Lord Nityananda's preaching. Sometimes we forget that Krishna consciousness is a mass movement. It's for everybody. Some of the people become initiated devotees and priests and gurus and so on. They become the pure devotees that spread the holy name everywhere. But initially, everybody is invited to come and join in the kirtan. There's no qualification whether one's a sinner or whether it's a pious person, whether one's this Hindu, Muslim, whatever it might be. Everyone's welcome to chant. And Lord Chaitanya had young and old in his kirtan party. When the old people were dancing like young people. So this is the easy way for opening the storehouse of love of Godhead. And I'm sure every one of you if you ever did Harinam or did any kind of mass preaching, you always find that so many people, just by the contact with the devotees, by the contact with the Harinam, some people always come alive in a very special way. Some people that are touched very deeply. And that's what makes the chanting so special and makes the Krishna conscious movement so special. That it's not restricted to anyone, it's for everyone. If we can get everyone to chant and dance, that will be the success, and some of them will take it up very serious and want to also practice naturally. It'll be easier for them to spread it to other places. So Prabhupada, he applied his teachings. We can see how great Srila Prabhupada was. I mean, whatever is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada took it at face value. He accepted it as it is. Lord Chaitanya said, everyone without discrimination, they can all get the mercy. So even when he came to America and he saw that it's a really tough place, these people are really into mode of ignorance and passion, they're really just trying to enjoy the senses, and they're very proud about it. They think this is the way, the only way. But actually they're missing out on a much higher happiness. So Prabhupada, he knew that this was for everybody. He just went, started chanting in Thompson Square Park. Met today Mother Alice, Puskar's mother, and she said she saw Prabhupada chanting in Thompson Square Park. Said she saw Prabhupada before her son. So, Srila Prabhupada didn't have that kind of predisposed prejudice that this person can be Krishna conscious, this one can't. He tried to make Westerners Krishna conscious, tried to make Indians Krishna conscious, tried to make Chinese Krishna conscious, tried to make Russians Krishna conscious, tried to make everyone. Because he knew that everyone had this basic nature that we are all eternal spirit soul, and it's our nature to serve Krishna. And simply we have to clear away the covering that's making us identify with this body, that this is myself, I'm a body, somebody. We're not somebody or anybody, we're not the body at all. We are actually the soul. And the spirit soul gets happiness when we engage in Krishna's service. And that's the kind of happiness which is inexplicable. We just know that it's something that's so profound and so deep. We've never experienced anything like that anywhere else. Physical and mental happiness don't match up with it. Prabhupada explained it's something like you have a feast, sometimes the kids want to eat the sweets first. Instead of going through all the subjis and other savories and things, they might just want to go for the sweet. But Lord Chaitanya is giving us the dessert. Normally you have to do all the austerities, then you get the ecstasy. He's giving the ecstasy first to prove you this is what you get, now do the austerities. Then you can keep it. You get sneak previews. If you want to always remain in ecstasy, then you have to practice. You can be in ecstasy all the time. Your whole life can be a personified kirtan. You can always be happy. So the Prabhupada's mercy, he brought us this storehouse of Lord Chaitanya. There it was in India. Even though it was open, but it wasn't being shared by anybody. Lord Chaitanya said, how much I can give out by myself, I need help. To give out to everybody. So anybody who helps Lord Chaitanya distribute it, then they also become very confidential servitor of the Lord. So we hope that all the devotees will take it as their part of their mission statement to help Prabhupada to distribute the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada has many representatives and they're trying to distribute the mercy of the Lord, so any way you can, you help to distribute And just by chanting Hare Krishna, that's helping a lot. Helping in ways that we can't even begin to understand. Someone was telling me now that America has become one of the best places in the world to preach. And now when you do Harinam, the people they're not negative at all. They really like it. They appreciate it. Someone told that big Harinams in New York for the New York Rath Yatra. I was in India at that time when the Rath Yatra, I couldn't go. That's how people are very positive, very encouraging, clapping their hands, smiling. You know, people be brought closer to God because of all the dangers they've been through, anxieties, threats. Now is the best time. Get people to chant, get people to, it's an easy thing. So I think I heard that some ecstatic kirtan here, I just heard at the end of it. So obviously they got the formula. We wanted just to give that to everyone. How late does the class go to?
Till 6.
Oh, okay, sorry. Only started at 5:30, I thought I just got 45 minutes. Time for a question, or just end it here then? Question? Yes?
You were speaking about, in America, really the heavenly categories and the sense gratification available, and the new terrorism and some problems. First, like you were mentioning, there's also other problems, different sufferings having to do with complicated lifestyle. We have other financial systems and it's very difficult sometimes to live a simple life. But then you also spoke of, that the cure is to perform the 9,000 devotional service during the period of chanting in unmotivated and uninterrupted. So how is it, when in the beginning our devotional service is not unmotivated because we have some material desires, and like you said, sometimes we hear the chant, but then we go and throw dust on our back by performing work in a fruitive consciousness or being attached to gratification. So how can we perform uninterrupted devotional service when we still have so many contaminations when it's not unworthy?
Well, if one isn't totally unmotivated, still they should do devotional service whenever they can. It says also in the Bhagavatam that even if a person has all desires or has no desires or has desire for liberation, akamo sarvakamo ma mokshakamo dharaviti rena bhakti jogena ajajeta purusham param, they should perform unbroken devotional service. In other words, they can also serve Krishna with the idea of pleasing Krishna, and then depending on Krishna, that okay, I have these desires, and depending on you to satisfy them. Now that is one kind of pure devotion. That at least you're depending on Krishna. You're trying to please Krishna, then you're depending on Krishna to reward you. As compared to just going out and enjoying according to your karmas. So here, offering Krishna, we have so much desires, but you're depending on Him. Whatever comes, normally, you take it. So even if someone has material desire, they should still be trying to please Krishna and serve Him. And obviously someone with desires like that, they're not going to get a sustained happiness because of these material desires. But then in between, when they get a little bit of glimpses by Lord Chaitanya's mercy of the spiritual happiness, eventually they come to their senses that I'm much more happy without a sense gratification. Or I'm much happy, the sense gratification itself becomes, even if it's there, it's not like the important thing anymore. That's not what we're dependent upon for our happiness. It's there, no problem. But I mean, even what the devas, what they experience, is their sense gratification was a very big distraction. But the happiness given by Lord Chaitanya is so great that it just pales. Even sense gratification that doesn't seem any more attractive. Even if one isn't sense gratification, it's not a problem anymore. If you really get absorbed in hearing and chanting and serving. But the problem is by sense gratification, by breaking especially this bona fide sense gratification, is kind of really against the rules and regulations, so that we lose the taste for that time. We forget the taste sometimes, even for a while. Try to forget it. That's why we need to try to avoid that and stay in the flow of devotional service. But even if one has desires, still they're supposed to do devotional service. But you do it, your service to please Krishna, and you'll be honest to Krishna, I still have these desires. And eventually I want to get rid of them, I want to overcome them, but right now I have these desires, but I want to please you, and then I want to serve you with my life. Same time I have these desires, just like Kardama Muni, he did so much tapasya, the Lord appeared to him. He said, I want to get married, I want to have a wife, and I want to have a child, and I want to have, but I want to do it in such a way at the end, I want to take sannyas too. I want to go back to you at the end of my life. So he got everything, and the Lord even became his own son. Okay, you want a child? I'll be your child. But a way that remain Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Last question. Short one. Now, until Wednesday, as you heard, so I'm here to serve you. That's us me. I'm your servant. If anyone has any service, maybe I can do to help you. Come and tell me. To my capacity, I'll try to do whatever I can. Hare Krishna. Nitai, Gour, Sita, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukha karoti Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishvara. Antapuram Shahidayam. Oh, yeah, here, chapter 29. That's where the marker was. Why would they put the marker 1 month later? Chapter. Duhitri putra pautranscha.
Duhitri putra pautranscha.
Jami jama triparshadam.
Jami jama triparshadam.
Swadvava shishtam yatkinchit.
Swadvava shishtam yatkinchit.
Griha kosa parichadam.
Griha kosa parichadam.
Duhitri putra pautranscha.
Duhitri putra pautranscha.
Jami jama triparshadam.
Jami jama triparshadam.
Swadvava shishtam yatkinchit.
Swadvava shishtam yatkinchit.
Griha kosa parichadam.
Griha kosa parichadam. Duhitri putra pautranscha. Jami jama triparshadam. Sarvasya yatkinchit. Griha kosa parichadam.
Duhitri putra pautranscha.
Duhitri putra pautranscha.
Jami jama triparshadam.
Jami jama triparshadam.
Smatva vashishtam yatkinchit.
Sarva shishtam yatkinchit.
Kosha parikshadam.
Griha kosa parichadam.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. First, word by word. Duhitri, daughters. Duhitri, daughters. Putra, sons. Potran, grandson. Cha, and Jami,
Jami,
daughters-in-law.
daughters-in-law.
Jamatri,
Jamatri,
sons-in-law.
sons-in-law.
Parshadam,
Parshadam,
associates.
associates.
Swatva, property.
Property.
Avashishtam,
Avashishtam,
remaining.
remaining.
Yat,
Yat,
kinchit,
kinchit,
whatever.
wherever.
Griha,
Griha,
home.
home,
Kosa,
kosa,
accumulation of wealth.
accumulation of wealth.
Parichadam,
Parichadam,
household paraphernalia.
household paraphernalia.
Arjuna then began to think of his daughters, sons, grandsons, daughters-in-law, sons-in-law, servants and other associates, as well as his house, his household paraphernalia, and his little accumulation of wealth. King Parasa then began to think of his daughters. Sons, grandsons, daughters-in-law.
Sons, grandsons, daughters-in-law.
Sons-in-law, servants and other associates.
Sons-in-law, servants and other associates.
As well as his house.
As well as his house.
His household paraphernalia.
His household paraphernalia.
And his little accumulation of wealth.
And his little accumulation of wealth.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is not infrequent for a person overly attached to the material body to request a physician to prolong his life at least for some time. If the so-called scientific physician is able to prolong one's life for a few minutes through the use of oxygen or other medicines, he thinks that he is very successful in his attempt, although ultimately the patient will die. This is called the struggle for existence. At the time of death, both patient and physician still think of prolonging life, although all the constituents of the body are practically dead and gone. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Swami translation purport to text 16, chapter 28, canto 4 of the Srimad Bhagavatam in the matter of Puranjana becomes a woman in a nice life. So here, Puranjana has been fighting with Kalakanya, the attack in the city. In other words, he's just about in the death throes. And bodily functions are going haywire. And at this moment he's remembering all his near and dear ones. So it says that father is naturally attached to the daughter. So first he's remembering his daughters and sons, grandsons, daughters-in-law. In the patriarchal system, which is normally practiced in most parts of India, everywhere except for Kerala, the daughter goes to the house of the bridegroom. And at the time of the fire sacrifice, her family karmas are transferred over from the parents to the husbands and their family. So she becomes like a member of the husband's family. And in a joint kind of Hindu family situation, and many times when I go preaching in the village, you go and there they still live joint. They all have, the father and mother they have like clusters of grass huts, and they all live around. And I remember one disciple brought out and said, this is, introduced his family, this is my wife, this is my eldest son, this is the eldest daughter-in-law, this is the second son, this is the second daughter-in-law, here there's 5 kids, this is the third son, and the third daughter-in-law, and one of our daughters is already married, but she's visiting here because you're here, so she's come from her family, and it's this gigantic clan, One family I went to had 55 members. But somehow, for some reason, in a village it's still quite popular. But in the cities it's gradually decreased. Some of, Ranajivan can say, some big families are still together, but the government has taxed you more if you're a joint big family than if you're many small families. So for taxation reasons, many families have broken up. But you could see that it was quite a unity there amongst all these family members, and especially if they're Krishna conscious. Then they have a whole traditions that they would follow. So here it's kind of represented in this verse, how Puranjana is remembering all of his near and dear ones. And daughters-in-law, they serve their father-in-law just like they would serve their father. They would serve so all these kind of very near and dear relations. When Jamais, Jamatri, so when Jamais come home, that means the son-in-law, he's treated like a royal guest. Because he's protecting the daughter, who's the most dear, beloved, your dear beloved daughter. If someone has a daughter, what could be more dear than one's son or daughter? So here this boy, man, whatever, his son-in-law is maintaining the daughter, protecting. So to make him feel very happy and very responsible and well received, so take care of the daughter very nice. They give him a very special reception. There's all kinds of cultural aspects which go in with this. Like the son-in-law, generally speaking, they don't like to take too much help from the father-in-law. Whatever they got in dowry, that's one thing, but they don't like to be too much dependent. It says it's not honorable. In some rare cases, when there's no son in the family, then a son-in-law might agree to become like the son in the family, but that's an exception rather than a rule. So when you see that, I was always wondering, because sometimes I saw in ISKCON that very young marriages and they didn't seem to work out, and I wondered why this was the Vedic way, why it didn't work out. But then I saw in India that these young marriages, they join part, they're just like, you come here, the fourth son's daughter, wife, that means you're the youngest daughter-in-law, you're just coming in like boot camp in the army. You got your mother-in-law, every single older brother's wife is above you, and you have to touch all their feet. Each one when they brought out, and they touched they're all Didi. They can't even say the name. You can't call your older brother's wife by her name. You call her Didi. That she's my older sister. And so the young girl who's trained up, she's got so much shelter and training in that whole environment that it's not so much pressure. And they all do the child care together and there's a lot of support. And then, you get somebody married in the West and they're 14 or 15 years old or something, and they're sitting there with the television and all the Maya and the nobody, it's not the same thing. Not the same kind of support. They're not ready to be head of the family. They may be ready to be, part of the whole united family team, and trained up by the mother-in-law how to cook, how to do that. And then eventually, as the mother-in-law, she passes away, then the oldest son's wife becomes the head of the lady head of the family, and the oldest son becomes head. Sometimes I think we imitate without really, not fully following, what's the whole system, how to make it work. All these things can work, but then you have to have the support systems in place. So anyway, that's just the side. Living in India and preaching in the villages and in the towns, and you see so much, you see it in actual. It's like one thing you read about people plowing with a bull, and when you see them actually do it, it's another thing when you actually do it yourself. Just like I was talking to Chaya yesterday, our cow protection and agricultural minister wife. And when you're actually plowing, and then you give them the voice commands, and then they start to respond, and it's like a whole other dimension. They're people. You can talk to them. You can say, go left, go right, turn around, stop, go, hold it, Watch out for your feet. In India, the most amazing command, when I was plowing with the bulls, is there's a command that says, move your feet over. Because you're getting too close to the plow shear, you may get hit by the plow. So you say, pa, 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 that's the Bengali code. It means foot, watch you, move your foot. And the cow moves over. And he says, they're people. They respond, and they know the voice command. They have to speak their language. They don't have a very big vocabulary, but they respond. They respond to emotion, how much emotion you put in your voice command, and things like that. So it's when you see it in practice, as the Prabhupada said, it was good if devotees spent some time in India. In fact, he liked it even for 2 years. The Mormons, they spend 2 years before they get married going out and doing preaching. if devotees could spend a couple of years in India and get actually preaching and working with the people, you get a deeper kind of appreciation, especially while India is still left. I mean, we don't know, they're becoming westernized so fast, or then there's the, always the threat of some big war going on. So that we get a deeper understanding, and then we can apply it as a realized knowledge in our environment, so we find ourselves here in a way which is applicable. Prabhupada applied things according to what was practical here in the West, but some of the detailed applications, they need to be very carefully understood. So when you see the whole situation, you understand why Puranjana, time of death, it's very natural that he think about all these persons who are, been serving. When somebody serves you, you actually get attached to that person. This person, if you're an honorable person, you'd be indebted. This person's been helping me. So then at the time of his death, he's thinking of all these near and dear ones, his daughters, sons, grandsons, daughters-in-law, sons-in-law, servants, and other associates in his house and everything. Then finally, of course, he's thinking about his wife, and how is she going to maintain all these things? How will she do it alone? And Prabhupada said that he went to see a friend in Allahabad who was passing away, and then the doctor told him, "You're going to die. You're not going to live. You're telling yourself." And he's like, grabs the doctor's hand. "Doctor, look, I just invested 1.5 lakhs of rupees in my business, and then I just get 1 more year, it'll multiply, and I'll have, I'm going to double my money. I'll have 6 lakhs or more, maybe, just give me 1 more year so I can, triple my money." The doctor said, "What can I do? It's not in my hands." Now I probably was thinking about, if he dies today or dies in 1 year from now, and all that happens, he multiplied his money twice, so then he'll have twice as much money in his bank account when he dies. What was the value of it? What does he gain by that? He's not thinking that when I die, whether now or 1 year from now, where am I going? See, the whole focus here, the person's leaving, but he's only thinking about what he's leaving behind. It's like going on a journey. You pack your bags, everything's ready, you say goodbye to everybody, and then, somebody asks you, "Hey, where are you going?" "Oh, I don't know." Pretty stupid, right? Sometimes we travel a lot and preach, and where am I going? It's not so bad. But that's what's kind of happening here. The person doesn't, it's all focused on, all the people is leaving, and the whole, how things are going to go on. But obviously the most important thing he needs to do is plan where he's going. At least 50% or more of his thoughts should be about the future. There's a limit to what he can do. And this is the amazing thing, is that you get the whole world so focused on maintaining their present health and working out in the gyms and reading the newspaper and finding out what's happening and thinking about their distant family relatives. And I remember one devotee asked his father, "Why don't you come and visit India and see the holy place?" He said, "Look at, I'm an American. I haven't even seen all the 50 states of America yet. I mean, I haven't seen every place in Alaska or the Eskimos or so many places. I didn't see, Idaho and North Dakota, How can I go to see some other country when I haven't even seen my own country, all the 50 states? Vermont and Maine. Don't you all feel like you're really missing out if you don't see every single state in America? Whether you saw all 50 or didn't see, what does it do for you? What do you really gain by it? But this was in this life, in America. I got to see all my states. Not that he's the eternal spirit soul, and if he could see the Holy Land where Supreme Personality of Godhead had his Leela, that's a lot more important than seeing Idaho or anywhere, whatever. I don't want to criticize any state, but a lot of potatoes come from there, right? You offer them to Krishna. But this is the kind of illusion we get into. The Maya creates such a illusion over that we can't see through the forest, because of all the trees. It's just that's why it's so important to side by side. Why we have to chant every day. Maybe a very simple process, something simple. You see when devotees gradually give up chanting, and then Maya just starts to creep in. It's like last night I showed in the slideshow how there was this one banyan tree in Kanai Natshala, and in the banyan tree there was a temple. That in this temple, I don't know how many years old this temple was, it's very small bricks. But now the tree has swallowed the entire temple and crushed it, and all that's left is a few bricks stuck inside the tree. You can see a wall in the tree, you can see some bricks, you can see how... And then you remember how in India you see in some of these old temples a little banyan tree growing out of the wall. And the people flip out, you gotta get that. And I've seen in some old temples where the roots of the banyan tree are they're going and they're completely going all over the wall. And now we saw in Kanai Natshala how what happens afterwards, that eventually the tree just takes over the entire building and eventually eats it for breakfast. So this is what happens to our consciousness. And Maya comes in with a little root, little seed, and then starts expanding more and more and more. Actually, this whole material world is like Saraputta Prabhu's read some book, how it's a big virtual reality. But we're locked into it. We're in this particular dimension of existence known as the material world. And then when somebody yesterday told me that a young man at his previous business partner, who was 65, just passed away yesterday morning. And every day people are leaving. But actually it's just it's the way someone exits. It's a possible exit from this dimension to another. Or maybe they're just still in this dimension, they're just exiting from this particular window and going into another birth, and that's what usually happens. But it's an opportunity for human beings when they leave. If they could think of Krishna at the time of death, then they go back to Krishna. So whole life is a preparation for remembering Krishna. But Maya is conditioning us that at the time of death, remember all these things. Your cows, your dog, your pet deer, Bharat Maharaj, your family members, your loved ones, your husband, your wife. I mean, if there are pure devotees going back to Godhead, then okay, but otherwise, the husband remembers the wife, he becomes a woman in his next life, and other birth, and the wife remembers the husband, if he doesn't, the husband's not going back to Godhead, she can take birth as the man. So the idea is to help everybody at the time of death remember Krishna.